everybody. Are you there? Am I on? Awesome. Hi, it's Sarah Owen, and I lead the team at the Southwest Florida Community Foundation, and I'm super excited to welcome you to this year's Women's Legacy Fund Spring Luncheon. First things first, does everybody have their cookies? I hope you got your delivery. I can't wait to dive into mine. But be sure you've got everything you need as we spend this time together here at Collaboratory. Now, I know that you're tucked away at home, socially isolating, and I'm very proud of you. I'm here at Collaboratory, but don't worry, I brought my hand sanitizer and I'm keeping CDC distances and guidelines in check as we gather today. I know that this is a different time, but I'm reminded that a year ago we were all here at Collaboratory together, gathering around tables, having a working lunch, discussing our grant funding, and just connecting with each other. But what's great about Collaboratory is it isn't just a place, it's a space, and it allows us to also connect virtually. And particularly in times like this, it's really important that groups like the Women's Legacy Fund stay connected, because there's still a lot of work to do for women in our community. So I hope that this time together is interesting for all of you and fulfilling. It just makes me feel better to know that you're all out there and still supporting the work in the community. And my greatest hope is that you're taking care of yourselves and staying well and doing well. So today we're going to spend a little time doing the things we always do at these luncheons because they're so important. But one of the things I will miss is hearing back from you. These luncheons are always a time for us to think together, to learn from one another, and I can tell you that the foundation team really values your feedback. Being part of the Women's Legacy Fund means that you've got a voice in the choice and that you're helping to design and imagine and inspire and be bold around our grant making. So it's important to me that after today's luncheon, while you're watching today, take notes, and after the luncheon, just email me. You can reach me at iamlistening@floridacommunity.com. iamlistening@floridacommunity.com, because I'm sure you'll have insights that you want to share, and that's such a big part of the luncheon. And just because we can't be together doesn't mean that we can't connect, share information, and come up with new ideas together. I really look forward to hearing from you. So as you know, this is always a working lunch where we want to learn more, we want to design more, and we want to think more together. And I think it's really interesting that the Women's Legacy Fund is right in the middle of a 3-year funding commitment that really empowers and provides resources for women pursuing careers in healthcare. Which one of us would have ever imagined that we would be in the situation we are right now with the coronavirus pandemic, and really understanding that healthcare workers are the frontline heroes? I've done a little bit of research over the last couple weeks of what impact is this virus having on healthcare workers, particularly women. And what I'm hearing in general in our region specifically is that because of the virus and the impact on our economy, many of the sources that have previously been available here to support women who are pursuing certifications as a certified nursing assistant. And remember, those CNAs are the people that are just really frontline and boots on the ground. They have lots of patient contact. That funding is no longer available, and funding like the Women's Legacy Fund grant that you all are supporting is going to be the only source of funding in the very near future. Now, I know none of us imagined that we would be in this situation, but we all knew that supporting and empowering women as they advance in the workforce and that they are empowered through their careers was important. But now, more than ever, this type of funding, where we are supporting women who are working on the front lines in our hospitals and healthcare facilities, is really vital. And I just want to take a minute to let that soak in for you, to see how critical this kind of funding is. Now, the last time we were together, most of us, was in the fall, and we all met at Fort Myers Technical College. Our fall luncheon is really designed for us to get out into the field and see the funding at work and the impact it's making. So when we gathered there, if you'll recall, we took tours of the technical college, specifically the labs and the classrooms where certified nursing assistants were being trained. We met some of the certified nursing candidates. We heard from them. We also heard from our funding partners at the Lee County School District, sharing kind of progress that had been made. And you were on hand to see us present the second of 3 checks. What's great about this funding, and now particularly in the situation we are, is this was multi-year funding, so it wasn't one and done. This funding continues to be there. And again, with other funding sources not being available, now this year's funding will be more important than ever. The healthcare systems are looking to find ways to fill these much needed openings in this career choice. If you all remember, a number of years ago, we spoke about the massive shortage of certified nursing assistants. And through your grant and other programs, the Future Makers Coalition, our community has been able to make a lot of progress filling a lot of those terminally vacant jobs. But now it's going to be more important than ever because the vacancies are expanding. More and more healthcare workers are going to be needed in both the short and long term. Over the last several years, as we've followed the trajectory of this grant, we've spent time diving into data, making new decisions, visiting the technical college where CNAs are trained, and really trying to understand all the gaps in the system so that our funding and our insights could be just a small part of creating solutions. But I think it's important for us to hear from the human side as well. So this year, what we wanted to do was spend a little time having a conversation with a woman who has pursued a career as a CNA. We'll get to hear what were the barriers to getting the certification? What have been the biggest surprises now the career has started? How is she balancing being a mother and also working in the field? There's so much that we can learn from someone who is experiencing just the things that we've been planning for. So it's my great pleasure to spend a little time with just that person. Well, I'm very excited to introduce our guest for today's luncheon, Deshauna Levy. And I am really excited on a lot of levels. We're going to get to hear from an empowered career woman who has been pursuing a career in healthcare, which, as we just discussed, is so vitally important right now. But it seems even more important to talk about it right now with what's going on with the coronavirus. And I'm really flattered and happy that Deshauna could take some time out of her very busy schedule. Can you imagine how busy CNA, a certified nursing assistant, who is working right now on the front lines at the Cape Coral Hospital, helping us fight this pandemic, has taken time out to be with us today, and I'm really grateful. But you'll notice here that we've got great social distancing, and she was telling me all the precautions that she's been taking personally and professionally. But I'm really excited to welcome you, Deshauna, because it first gives me an opportunity to personally say thank you.
Thank you.
And I think if you could hear from everybody listening on the other end right now, you would hear a massive cheer, right? Everybody, you would be cheering her through the camera with gratitude, respect, and just so much thanks for what you're doing day in and day out.
My pleasure.
Please, when you go back to work, please express to everybody our gratitude for what everyone there is doing.
Yes.
It's tremendous.
I will.
And we'll get back a little bit later in our conversation to kind of what life is like right now. But I don't want to start there. I want to start at the beginning.
Okay.
What drew you to this career originally, and give us a little idea of like, when did you start? When did you start pursuing a career as a CNA, and what drew you to it?
I was in security prior, and I was a gatehouse security officer, and I was just there, just doing the same thing, and I'm just like, I gotta be doing more with my life. I felt useless. And I said, I didn't even know where to start. And then I met this woman, Carolyn. She's amazing. And she guided me to the CNA program. And that's when my life changed for the better. And I never seen myself as a CNA. I should say this because I have a family member that's a CNA. And I didn't hear, great stories. And I'm like, it was just stressful for her in her line where she was. But I'm at the hospital, and I feel so happy that I can help and give back, and it's very rewarding. And so security, I was just like feeling useless to now where I'm happy in what I do. So that's where it started.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a little bit of purpose in there, like you were
There is
seeking
purpose.
And I think as women, all of us, but particularly women that I talk to, are kind of looking for that purpose in their life. It doesn't happen just one time.
Yes.
I think we go through chapters of our lives. Like
Correct.
sometimes we're fulfilling a purpose maybe in motherhood or helping another family member, or we've got a career in something and suddenly we say,
Yes.
I want to do something else. It sounds a little bit like that was happening for you. I mean,
Yes.
security probably was fulfilling for a while, but then you thought there could be something more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So how did you get engaged in the CNA program? Did you enroll in a program, or where did you get your training?
At the Cape Coral Tech college.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cape Coral Technical College. Yeah, I love that you use the word college because it is.
Yes.
The certifications and the work that's going on at those technical colleges is
Yes.
really important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where I went. It was 6 weeks. I was there from the beginning of October, and I ended around the end of January. The beginning of January. Yeah.
So how long have you been in the field now?
2 years now.
Did you ever expect that you would be seeing what's going on right now with this pandemic
No.
2 years ago?
No.
Right.
But I'm happy that I'm involved and I can help and there to see what's, the front line, because it's scary. I feel like if I wasn't at the front line, I would be freaking out more.
Right.
But, I have 2 children, so I'm like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with, and I know the precautions that I need to take. And, I'm, of course, a little afraid, but I'm brave enough to just still go and do what I have to do daily.
Yeah, when we were talking before we were filming today, I just noticed your strength and grace when I just asked you what it was like, and you were very sure of yourself and what your role was, and you feel like you're playing an important role there, which I think is
Yes.
neat. So you mentioned 2 kids.
Yes.
And so I think that's always a factor for women, as if they're also moms,
Yes.
that they're trying to both juggle and balance motherhood and their careers.
Yes.
And also kind of, as you think about your career, what that means for the example that you set for your kids. So tell me a little bit about your kids, but also tell me how they feel about the job you have. Are they at the ages where they understand what you do?
Yes.
And have you seen anything that has influenced them as you pursued this line of work?
Yes. Well, my daughter, she's 13. She understands, and she is very proud that I'm going in the direction I am, because she wants to go in that direction eventually as well. And but she's afraid, of course. She's like, Mom, social distancing. So she's like afraid in that sense, but she's happy. She's, she knows that in the direction that I went with the CNA prior to being with security, that I have created a better financial, stable life for us. And, it's just overall rewarding and better. So she's happy.
Do you think you going into this field is what's kind of influenced her to want to go in this direction?
Yes, I feel like she just always wanted to be in healthcare. She's like, I want to be a neonatal nurse. She likes the babies. So I think it influenced her more. Yeah, that's the direction she wants to go.
So you've got a 13-year-old son, 13-year-old daughter,
Yes.
and then how old? You have a son too,
Yes,
right?
he's
How old
6.
Is he?
He's 6.
All right. Does he know what you do for a living?
He does, but he's still, not all there where he's just like, the severity of healthcare and, the whole coronavirus. He
Right.
thinks, oh, it's just the coronavirus. It's something big, but he doesn't know the extent of it. So.
So you've told me a little bit about their perspective. What's it been like for you? Like, how do you feel that your new career track over the last 2 years has influenced your family?
I think it has influenced us in a great positive way, because I'm happier, and we can do more, and it's just overall better.
So I have this sense about you just from talking to you for this few minutes. Is CNA something you're going to remain in, or do you have any plans to maybe pursue more education, more certifications? What's your future plans in the career?
I am currently completing my prereqs. I'm in my last semester, and then I don't know how it's going to go with the virus, but I will eventually get into the nursing program and hopefully become a nurse one day.
Wow. See, I didn't know that answer, but I just had this sense sitting across from you
Yes.
and kind of some of the conversation we had before we sat down together that maybe you had aspirations for that. Did you imagine that's what you wanted to do when you started the CNA program? Was that already in your mind, or is that something that's kind of happened as you've gone along this journey?
I feel like it's something that has happened as I've gone along, because maybe it's something I just, okay, I feel like I want to advance. Where I was in security, I just wanted to do more, and now I'm here, I'm a CNA, and I want to do more, so maybe that's just how I am, I don't know.
No, I think we build confidence in our career as we go along.
Yes.
Do you, we get confident in one role, and then we're like, okay, I think I can take on more.
Yes.
And starting with the CNA, did that kind of give you a view of what other opportunities were in healthcare, where you got the sense that you could step into even more career advancement?
Yes, when I was becoming a CNA and starting off as a CNA, I was like, oh, nervous, of course, this is new, but now I'm comfortable. I'm, doing what I'm doing, and I'm comfortable and, courageous in it, and now I feel like I can go on and improve and become a nurse. So
I love that you use the word courageous. What a great inspirational word to hear from you.
Yes.
That's a great way to describe it. So were there any barriers as you were pursuing your certification? I know we talk a lot with the Women's Legacy Fund and a lot of the contributors. We're always kind of on the lookout for any barriers that happen for women, because we're focused on women and their careers in healthcare.
Okay.
Were there barriers along the way, or things that you were worried about, or things that would have been barriers, but some support system or something was there to kind of overcome them?
my barrier was financial, and so I was afraid I was gonna get into it. And when I first started at Cape Coral Tech, they said I have to pay first and they will reimburse. And I'm like, oh, but I don't have it. So that was really it. It was just a financial barrier getting to where I needed to be.
Did you see barriers of equipment or certification tests or things of that nature?
Well, we had to get uniforms, so that was a cost, expense. And they had a fee to begin with. I don't remember exactly what the fee was, but there was just a couple of fees here and there that they wanted you to put forth, and then they said, oh, we'll reimburse you.
Yeah.
So
And was that tough when you were in that moment, trying to
Yes.
figure out a way that you were going to manage that?
yes, because
Yeah.
the bills don't stop.
Right.
So it's like, how do I, juggle that?
Just the extra money sitting around to do it. And we hear that from a lot of women, that they want to pursue new career pursuits, or they want to do, they like you said, I'm ready to do something that's going to lift my entire family up. I mean,
Yes.
what you've described, you're now an example for your daughter and have inspired her.
Yes.
And it's sometimes what we might think of as not a big amount of money, but it's big enough to keep us from being able to move forward.
It is.
And a lot of times I think we just don't, we don't always think about that. So once you got over those barriers and got your certification and started work, what's the thing that surprised you the most about the job? Like, What was the biggest surprise, or is there something that happened without, revealing anything too sensitive?
Yes.
Was there surprises to you once you started?
Well, I was surprised at all the different things that could happen. I didn't know a lot, and I seen a lot, so I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't ever expect to see that. So there were many different things that can go on that I was surprised I didn't even know that could happen.
So
But
I'm guessing in a career in healthcare, particularly working right there in the
yes,
hospital setting, that every day is completely different for you,
it
right?
is. It
Yeah.
is. And I like that because I went, like I said, with the security, it was just day to day, the same thing, where in healthcare, you go in there, it's always different, and I like it.
You never know what to expect,
Yes,
right?
correct.
Yeah.
Like, especially with this thing popping out, the virus.
Right.
So we didn't expect that, and now we're dealing with that. So yeah, it's always something different, something new.
Yeah, extra challenges, but
Yes.
you really strike me as a person that kind of takes challenges on head on. So
Yes.
you've got 2 kids, you're working as a CNA, you've done your prerequisites, it sounds like, to move forward.
I'm still working on those.
You're working on those, fantastic. And now you're dealing with a situation where you're working full time. How are you juggling this career as a CNA and 2 kids that need to now do virtual learning?
Yes, it's
What's that?
definitely a
Yeah.
challenge. I'm thankful my daughter, she is a child that she strategizes and she, is on top of her learning. And I just need to check in with her. Do you need help with this? How are you doing with this? My son, on the other hand, he's younger, so I need to be that I'm going to be the teacher. Well, the teacher is going to be there for the virtual learning, but of course I need to, take on that role because I feel like it's homeschool now. So
Right.
it's going to be a challenge, but I'm up for the challenge. They're my two, and I just want them to be great, so.
See, once again, I'm not surprised to hear you say that because you just are willing to take on the challenges to help yourself, help your family, and to help our community. What advice would you give to somebody who is where you were maybe 2.5, 3 years ago when you were standing there contemplating, what should I do next?
I would say where you feel like you hit a brick wall and you feel like there's no way and you're down and out, there's always a way. There's always generous people like you all that's willing to help, and there's always a way. So don't give up. Just if you feel very passionate with helping people, helping others, CNA is the way to go, and you can move up. And it's just a great field to be in, and just, I feel like, yeah.
No, I think you've said it all. Like, reach out and get support.
Yes.
Have confidence in yourself. You said earlier that confidence will build and build.
Yes.
And just take that first step, and that there will be people there waiting.
Yes.
to
Don't be
help you.
afraid.
And
Yes.
don't be afraid. Yeah, to be fearless when you need to be.
Yes.
Well, I am really looking forward to keeping up with you as your career advances.
Thank you.
And to know what you have in store in the future.
Okay, great.
Stay in touch with you. And again, I want to just say, like I said at the beginning of our conversation, thank you so much for what you're doing
Thank
and
you. My
all that
pleasure.
you're contributing, not just during coronavirus. I know this puts a special spotlight right now
Yes.
on the healthcare system, but even when there's not a pandemic, day in and day out, women in healthcare are showing up every single day and making a big difference in our community.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks, Deshaun.
Thank you.
Wow, I don't know about you all, but that was an extra dose of inspiration I really needed today. Deshauna's story really encouraged me. It made me reflect on the courage that women have to pursue their dreams. I think we've all been in a position where we've wanted to pursue something of a higher purpose that lifts us up, lifts our family up, and lifts our community up, and I think she exemplified all of those. I hope it also made you feel really fulfilled by your contribution to the Women's Legacy Fund. Many of you are current contributors, thank you. Some of you are ready, it's time to renew. Don't worry, the link below allows you to renew and get all of that taken care of. Please click on that link. And if you're a guest of a contributor today and you've been inspired by this conversation and you want to get involved, that link will work for you as well. We welcome everybody to the table to be part of these really important solutions. I am also encouraging you to continue to reach out to the foundation and to Collaboratory. We're looking for ways to connect during this time, and your feedback and input and thoughts and feelings are really important to us. So let's stay connected and let's keep doing well and staying well. Until I see you again, goodbye.